So today is a very serious topic, okay? The topic on karmic disease. So you know, people have different disease, and sometimes it's not explainable. We don't understand why the disease. So in general, you need to understand first the meaning of the word karma. So karma just simply means the law of the universe of cause and effect, action and reaction. Okay? The word karma means action. And karma applies to physical action, but also mental action. That means you didn't do anything, but you think about it. And when you think about it, you create the mental karma. And the reason why we are born in this particular condition is because of our karma. Okay? So there is no accident that we are born in certain family, in certain circumstances, certain country, and our life goes a certain way. It's all because of our karma. So karma doesn't mean just an action, but also the result of an action. The consequence of an action, yeah, is the same as the action. It's about the same nature and the same force. But if you understand that life is not just only one life, but a series of life, and you have the soul life, that means a very long soul life, and when you're born and you forget, the previous lives. So the present life is the result of thoughts and action you have done in the past. And it's not continuous. Sometimes you reap the result of this action, of this thinking in the past life, right away in this life. But sometimes it's the result of past thoughts in previous life that come out now. So there's different action, intermingling with each other, as it's not a vertical line. Everything is not just one after the other. So that's why you don't quite understand sometimes. Things are, happen all sudden and you don't know why. But you understand the law of karma. The law of karma is nothing by accident. Okay? So you are born in a certain family, either a rich family, poor family, a violent family, a very depressed family. You are loved as your kid, or you are, why the action, what happened in your childhood, is very important to influence the rest of your life. Because you reap the result of your past action, your karma. when you were young. So it determines the balance of your life. Okay, so when whatever happened when people are young would influence the rest of their life because of the karma that come from past. So the whole world runs on that idea of karma. Yeah, the seed, sometimes the idea of the seed. And from the seed you put in the ground and come out the tree. Okay, and the tree will create the seed. So it's a chain of cause and effect that continuously going. So no event can occur without having a definite positive cause. Okay? Sometimes you see the cause, sometimes you don't see the cause. So there is 3 laws that go underneath the law of karma, the law of compensation. Now, the first is the law of action and reaction. Anything action will have a similar reaction. Okay? Compensation, that means in the distribution of the karma, there is there's an intelligence that is behind, so that makes everything is balancing itself out. And in the distribution of the karmic result, there is the idea of punishment of a wrong action that is being considered as well. So if somebody do a wrong action, then we'll reap the reaction, okay, by the divine law. Nobody punish the person. It's their own action that give the result back. And it's very important when we talk about karmic disease to understand that point. Okay? Equal force and similar nature. Equal force and similar nature. For example, if you break somebody's leg, then at one lifetime, you are walking, all of a sudden the tree fall down and it break your leg. Like this. Might not be a person break your leg, but your leg is being broken. So you experience the result of the karma of you breaking the leg of somebody. So nobody is being punished by God. It's just the result of your action that is like a punishment. Okay? And sometimes the opposite. Sometimes you receive things that you did not work for in this life. You know, some good thing happened to you. It's because it's a past life. You know? Somebody gave you money, for example. You didn't have to work so hard, but somebody gave you money. Maybe because in last life you donate a lot, you give a lot. So in this life you receive money. Okay. So Swami Shivananda say that the law of karma operates with unceasing precision. He said precision and scientific accuracy. Because we don't know, so you think, oh, it's haphazard. But it's very, very clear. Okay? So is it clear? Everything is in harmony, but it operates by an invisible hands behind. But it is the consequence of your own action. Nobody is at fault. Okay? So when you understand that, then you would prevent. I mean, you would try to live a good life, controlling your thoughts. So you prevent negative things to happen by actively pursuing good thoughts. So the law of compensation keep everything in harmony. Swami Shivananda gave the example. Is there heat somewhere in some other country, then there will be cold somewhere, some other country. So because of the law of compensation. Okay? If there is some bad people somewhere, and there will be some saintly people also. That's compensation. So the law of compensation is part of the law of karma. Retribution, every wrong action or crime brings its own punishment. It's the same as the law of action and reaction, but more of an idea that you would suffer from pain from the result of your bad action. So, in fact, you think wrongly that you did something to somebody, like you robbed somebody, but it's not that you are robbing somebody, you're robbing yourself. Okay? Because you rob somebody and then you'll be losing something another time. And it's by your own action. So when you lose something, it's not that somebody is robbing you, yeah, but because you robbed somebody before, so now you're being robbed. So basically, you are robbing yourself. You receive the pain of losing because of robbery. So you did it to yourself. If you hurt somebody, then you'll be hurt. So that's the way how it works. The law of karma works. If you hurt somebody, you think that you hurt somebody, but that same action come back to you, it hurt you. So in fact, it is you that hurt yourself. Okay? You suffer from your own action. And the root cause of karma is the desire in your mind. Is when you do not recognize that you are this fulfilled self and you go look for happiness somewhere else. Your mind is not centered in the self, but your mind is thinking of different things. And from this desire of the mind, due to ignorance, and that's how you create karma. So desire produces karma. And you work very hard to satisfy the desire. And sometimes you didn't finish in this life, and the next life you'll be born in order to continue to satisfy the desire. So if you don't want to constantly being born, satisfy desire and desire other thing again, satisfy desire and desire again, because desire is insatiable, then you can stop the wheel of karma by practicing desirelessness, by remembering the self. Then at that time you become satisfied and content and desireless. Okay? So there's three kinds of karma, just to remind you. The karma of the past, that is in your subconscious mind. The karma of the current karma, the karma of the present, when you are experiencing pleasure or pain. And the karma of the future, when you react to the current karma, when you like something, you dislike something, then that will create the future karma. So therefore, this life is about experiencing the karma of the past and not to react. Always be grateful, thankful, do what you need to do, but always remember the self, not to react. Because the reaction will create new karma. So now, how much do you want to know the causes of the karma? You can intuit, you can deduce. Let's say you have the karma of violence. Then you have to understand, because in past I have commit violence. I did not know, I don't remember, but now I have the karma of violence. You know, sometimes violence starts when you were young. You were beat up, and when you were young, you were abused when you were young. It's your own karma. So the idea is this. Some people, they want to know exactly what happened in the past, but it doesn't really matter what happened in the past, because the current situation, if you understand, aware of the current situation, that is already fine. Yeah. And then you would think very well of the current situation. The way how you work out the karma is you accept it. You accept your life. Yeah, there is a sentence that says, I pray that I would change what I need to change, what I can change, and accept, yeah, what I cannot change, and I know the difference between the two. So your karma of the past cannot be changed, but you have to experience it. And when you experience it, try to experience your life in the most positive manner, because if not, it creates the new karma for the future. So even though we explain that there is a karma of the past and a karma of the future, but in fact it is the present. Because what happened in the present comes from the past, and what happened in the present and the way how you act and react will create the future. So that's why in the present, if you can meditate and be very aware in the present, then it would not reproduce in the future. Okay, so you imagine that the way how you will experience karma is oftentimes some kind of pain, yeah, some kind of shame, some kind of difficulty, and you did not know why it happened, but you inherit from it. Okay, so somebody would be born in a very strong body. Somebody would be born in a very weak body, is sick at birth. Yeah, somebody is very pretty, and somebody is having some kind of congenital disease. So all these are due to karma. Okay. Now think about this. Swami Shivananda gave you the whole long list in his book Karma and Disease. There is a summary here I'm going to give you, and it might scare you, but it's something that you need to learn, because we forget that our action can have a consequence, and the consequence can come in form of disease. Okay, that you cannot explain why. So many people have disease, they cannot explain why. Okay, and let's say that you eat wrong food and you have disease of the stomach. Okay, so the karma of eating wrong food will give you the immediate result, which is the stomach pain. But let's say that you are born already with some kind of weakness in the digestive system, and whatever you eat, you have problem. Yeah. So there is a cause that comes before even that this life. And you are born with certain weakness. Some people are born with certain weakness of the lungs. Some people are born with some weakness of the digestion. Some people are born with some weakness of the mind and the brain. Some people are born with some weakness in the circulation and the heart. Some people are born handicapped, yeah, with the body that is crooked, the spine that is not straight, the legs that are very weak, or the arms are very weak. Some people are born completely handicapped, yeah, with the nose that is crooked, who knows, the skin condition since you were young. So all this has some origin in your wrong action of the past. Okay, so I'm going to give you the list now, so you can remember more or less. Okay, so let's say in this life, this person is all the time have mental pain. Yeah, mental pain and agony, some difficulty, all the time feeling somebody, you can say they are paranoiac. Yeah, they feel like somebody is all the time is after them, and they suffer from that mental pain. They don't have joy, they don't have happiness. So if the person suffer all the time from mental agony and mental pain, Swami Shivananda say, because in the past life, we don't know when, last life from before, you insult other people and you break your promises, and then you create a lot of disappointment to other people. You insult people sometimes in public, and you can take something from the comfort of people, you know, their home or their property. So then in one life, you will suffer from all the time mental pain. Okay? Now, some people are born, have the tendency toward asthma. Asthma means respiratory problem. Inflammation of the lungs, different kind of disease, bronchitis, pneumonia, so some kind of lung disease. So he say, because in the past life, the karma, the action, the wrong action, was to plug up a hole or block a hole of a rat or a snake. Make them they cannot breathe. Yeah. So anything that you have done to somebody that creates suffocation, like even the fish, sometimes you take them out of the water, they cannot breathe. And you make them cannot breathe and then die. Yeah. So that action will create lung disease for you in the next life. So something we must have done, because there's so many people have, COVID, and COVID is touching the respiratory system. Yeah, you cannot breathe, you cough, and lungs are affected. Okay? And some people, they have snake bite. Why do you have snake bite? Or scorpion bite. So Swami Shivananda say, because you have injured somebody with poison from before. So now you have the snake bite, which is poisonous. So it's always like this. You see this more or less the same nature. If somebody has, he called it the disease called elephantiasis, which is a painful and disgusting disease that is make you disfigured, change your form. It's from the problem of the lymph that makes the body swell, abnormal swelling, and some kind of attack by some parasites. It's because you have oppressed others and you keep people in slavery, and you become very proud. You abuse other people. So now you have a disease that all the time very painful, and the body is disformed. Okay? Because you have too much pride from before. So now, and you make people suffer, so now you have to have suffering. Yeah? And you have to be humble because your body is disfigured. So if you have tuberculosis, it's because you were a miser, you are a money lender, and you make people become very poor, suffer from starvation, You charge people a lot of money. So now you suffer from tuberculosis. If you suffer from leprosy, it's because Swami Shivananda said, you lead an impure life, you indulge with prostitutes, so now you get leprosy. I didn't say that. Swami Shivananda have a long list. I'm just give you. If you suffer from epilepsy, it's because, epilepsy, you are all the time shaking, losing the mind, and, shakes. Why? Because before you were very proud of your physical strength and you misuse your power by oppressing and fighting with other people. If you get permanent eye disease, what you guess? What did you do? What did you do? You look at things wrongly, right? So what that means? You have NVI, or the people wealth or property. You have a lustful eye over other people's women. You have a lot of indulgence, sensual indulgence. So now this life you cannot see. You have eye problem. You can have also skin infection, or you can have all of a sudden you are cooking something and the water, hot water, boiling, and then you get burned. Okay, hot boil, get burned. It's because you have burned somebody's house that create maybe somebody's death from before. Okay, so skin, you see, you create a fire that affect the skin of somebody, cause somebody's pain, and now you would suffer from skin infection, hot boiling. It's the same. If you have digestive problem, gastritis means some stomach problem, because you have poisoned other people with bad food. You give maybe you hold a hotel and you give bad food and you make people have stomach problems. So this lifetime you will have also stomach problem. If you have bad itches, your skin, it have itches because you were, he said, you were hypocritical, you were lying, you say that you are a good person, but you all the time ill-treat other people, beat people very harshly, treat little children, not nice, then you will have all the time itches and skin disease. If you get ear sore, painful humming sound in the ear inflammation, if you have ear problem, because you have indulged in gossip. What is gossip? Talking bad about other people behind their back. You abuse other people verbally. You insult other people. You hear very obscene songs. So then you have some ear problem later on, inflammation from the ear. If you have loss of vision, leukoderma, which is autoimmune disorder, that means your immune system attacks the healthy cells in your body. So Swami Shivananda said it's because one lifetime you were the son that disobeyed the father and dragged the father to court. I mean, you do something wrong to your own father, then your own immune system is attacking your healthy cells. If you have a neuropsychiatric condition that gives you rheumatic fever, he say because you have twisted the truth in past life. If you are victim from every time there is an epidemic and you have some severe relapse and complication, it's because you rob people from their possession and you shoot poor people. Now you look around, many people do that, robbing people, shooting people. So all these things would have consequence. They will suffer another time. If you get cancer, gastric ulcer of the stomach, for some reason Swami Shivananda explained that because you have burned sacred books and destroyed spiritual literature. You don't want people to study, elevate themselves. You burn the books, so now you get gastric ulcer and cancer. And sometimes people have insanity, they become crazy, or impotence, I mean they cannot give children. Then it could be that because in past life they were a priest that don't keep up to the sadhana. Again, he talked about asthma, suffocation, I mean cannot breathe, tumor in the brain, and some kind of rheumatism, hunchback, is because you were, he said, you were capitalists that extract forced labor from workers and pay them very low. If you get chronic diarrhea, dyspepsia, which means indigestion problem, the abdominal discomfort, and suffer from malnutrition, anemia, not enough food, because you have act in deception. You have, some people have hair that is falling, and loss of skin color in patches, some teeth problem, because you have cheat people. You sell fruits and vegetables that are old, some rice that are old. You put high price and you make them fresh, but it's not. You cheat people. If you are obese in an incurable manner, stomach tumor, so you were, indulging in the black market to make a lot of profit on other people. Sometimes you have boil in the head and the shoulder, you have eczema because you do backbiting. Sometimes you have some severe disease of the mouth, inflammation of the gum, because you are not feeding gas when gas come very hungry and you're not feeding the gas. So you have some gum disease after that. If you get chronic headache, afflicted with loss of memory because you say falsehood in court. Scientists that invent destructive bombs and create a lot of innocent people dead, then they can have a lot of incurable diseases and they can be born as insects and then they be burned to ashes. And the trees are being burned in the forest and then they are being burned. If you are a doctor that you treat people wrongly and you charge a lot of money and a fake medicine, then you have problem, to give birth. If you have emotional disturbances, you have fatigue all the time, you have headache all the time, irritability all the time, you're born undeveloped or premature birth, very weak, you are very weak at birth because he said that you have indulged in immoral acts in past life, you drink intoxicants and alcohol. So this life you become very fatigued, very sick. If you tortured people in prison, you'll be born cripples and paralytic. I mean, you have paralysis, chronic nervous pain, and rheumatism trouble. If you talk about good people but wrongly, you insult the saints in the scripture, then you have cancer of the tongue. If you have dropsy, means building of fluid in the body, then septic fever, because you are an officer who misused public money, produce false receipts, misuse the money of the public. He said, if you have inflammation of the kidney, you have heart pain, chronic tooth pain, because you were parents that beat the children, husband that beat their wives, so you will come back, you commit some kind of violence. If you you have paralysis and trembling of the limbs, yeah. Sometimes you were a servant and then you pretend work and then you ruin the boss or the masters. Sometimes you get liver disease, vomiting, chronic diarrhea, blindness, because you deceive other people, you act as if you were holy, but all for money. You might have infection of the nose and the throat, inflammation of the tissue of the lungs and the chest, because you were abusing your children that are spiritual. Okay, so that's enough. So it's very precise. Okay? So when you have a disease like this, what do? Hmm? You have to accept any kind of karma. You have to accept, and then you do the best you can. So the story, like if your dress is being burned, okay? So what do? First thing you need to do is a fire danger to your body, you're being burned. What you need to do, you need to run to a body of water or a pond and you jump in to save yourself. You have no time to sit there and ask where the fire come from, how serious is the fire, what degree heat. Yeah. So you have some condition in the body and in the mind and in your life, some difficulty. Must be for certain that it come from some karma. Okay. At that time, don't waste time to try to figure it out. You know, what did I do in past life when this condition happened? You know, you try to be a good person as much as you can all the time, and you try to, you know, alleviate your condition as you can. And sometimes you cannot alleviate your condition because that karma has to be experienced. Then you bear it, you accept it, and you become a good person. So that's the way how you deal with karma. You have strength and weakness in your body, strength and weakness in your mind. So all this will create consequence. And you will behave in certain way that is not necessarily good. So you have to realize it, that it is the result of past karma. And you have to realize that now you need to be doing good things. If somebody insults you, you still have to do good things because it comes from your own karma from past. It's not nobody. Yeah? But if you react, then it keeps reproducing the same thing. So that in general is the same teaching of how to deal with karma and karma and disease means that when you have any condition, any disease in the body, it's a time for you to stop. I need hot water. It's a time for you to stop and to slow down, pour it here, and to think and not to blame, not to be negative, accept, surrender, and try to do the best you can. Okay? Any question? You can ask me, I have this disease, so what did I do in past life? Well, you have to meditate yourself, and you have to use that principles. And whatever happened is always because you have to learn something, and the nature of that thing, that disease or that pain, correspond to what you have done that created that pain in the past to somebody. So now the result come back to you. So you don't want to reproduce that, then you want to take this opportunity to be very, very careful with what you do and what you think. Okay? That's it. Nobody say anything. Thank you very much for being here. So if you have a particular body pain is the same. Who's asking? Darshana. Body pain is the same. Body pain somewhere is the same principle. If you have pain somewhere, it must have come from somewhere. And oftentimes body pain comes from mental action, mental wrong thinking that create the body pain. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. So you need to think, you see. I have lung weakness. Yeah, so when I was young, I was very young. I didn't do anything yet. I was very young, but I have lung problem. So the only time in my whole life that I have to go to a hospital was when I was young, and I have some lung problem. I don't know exactly what. Some weakness in the lungs. See? So it must be some karma from past, yeah, that affect the lungs. So the weakness of the body is the lungs. The lungs is a seat of the emotion of the lungs is the sadness, grief. So it must be that, you know, I have created the grief to somebody from before, or I have something that I don't understand in this life that create the grief to me in this life. See, so the weakness is the grief condition. So what I have to do, knowing that, I have to always try to make people happy, to bring joy to other people. Okay. Now, if you look at the list of Swami Shivananda, then the lungs, you know, the lung disease, it can come from, you make somebody die from suffocation, or you pluck the hole of a rat or a snake. Yeah. So then, well, you know that, so you don't try not to do that. Okay? Shivananda Yoga Dalat, Shiva Shakti. Very nice to see you all. Amala, Hanoi. Shivananda, Nandini. Which Nandini is that? There's a two Nandinis. There's a new Nandini. Yeah? Dharmiki, Janaki. May TTC just graduated. Okay. Okay. Yoga 108. Who is that? Who is Yoga 108? Is Ishwara. Is it Ishwara from LA? Yeah, very good. Grace from China. Tang, Shiva Jyoti. Purnima, all the people, regular people. Okay, Kanti, nice to see you. Nishta, Ngan, okay. Shambhavi, Leti Home. CD, Narayani, Shambhu, okay. Shambhu now he's doing Abhyanga for other people. He work on the skin of other people and he put the oil on other people and help them with their skin. And in this list here, if you skin infection is when you create fire that burns some people. So, you know, so now somehow he's doing, you know, his job is doing, putting all the time oil in other people's skin, help other people's skin. Uh, so we can laugh at this, you know, we don't believe in this, but you know, you need to look at you need to think, you know, that nothing by accident in this world. That's the main thing you need to understand. Nothing is by accident. We might not understand the reason, yeah, but we need to be very careful not to do anything wrong, negative, because it come back to us another time, for sure. In this form or that form, it will come back to us. So it's always do good thing to other people. Talk good thing about other people. Don't talk bad thing. Yeah. Don't say negative thing. Uh, you know, be sattvic. Be careful what you say or do. Okay. So thank you. If you have any topic that you want me to talk about next week, then you can write to me. Write to Priya Chaitanya, and I can do this. So I hope it will serve you in some way to understand about karma and karma disease. Om